So, Mr. Zuckerberg, what role are you playing in all of this? Are the rumors true? Will there be a check offered at some point? Yes.
Well, yeah, I've committed to starting the Startup Education Foundation, whose first project will be a $100 million challenge grant.
$100 million?
Wow, that was great.
Willie, as we've discussed before, it's the end of Ocean's 12. Andy Garcia has no choice but to go on Oprah, right?
He cuts the check.
There's no doubt.
That was the founder.
Even George Clooney cries at the end.
Yes, he does.
What are you doing?
What we just saw on our favorite show, Oprah, was
Real
the founder
life.
and CEO of Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, making the announcement on Oprah about his $100 million donation to Newark school system. And here with us now, Republican Governor of New Jersey, Christie, our friend, and Democratic Mayor of Newark, Cory Booker, also our friend.
Our friend.
Good to have you there.
I hope I get that friend card.
I said that for a specific reason.
Yeah, both of you great friends. Mika and I are radical.
Yeah.
We've got friends who are Republicans, and we have friends who are Democrats.
Yes.
So
weird.
let's start with our Democratic
But we're your
friend.
favorite Republican in Democrat.
Yeah, exactly.
Right now you are.
Yeah.
Well,
You guys
there's the
seriously are doing a
secretary.
remarkable job together. Let's talk, which should be a model actually for America.
Yes.
So let's talk about what happened in Newark. This is great news, isn't it, Mr. Mayor?
It's extraordinary news, and I think it's got the whole community excited and energized. But the reality is that we know money does not make a difference unless it's matched with commitment. People make a difference. And I think what the governor's really given Newark the opportunity to do is to step up for education, start to set high levels of accountability, start to really affirm what the community standards, because we in Newark know it's not a community standard in Newark that we have almost half of our kids not graduating from high school. It's not a community standard in Newark that we have such low a number of our kids reading at grade level in the 3rd and 4th grade. So this is our opportunity. This is Newark's moment. And what will define our success will not be the incredible generosity of Mark Zuckerberg. I mean, that's an amazing tool in our toolbox, but it will be the actual architects, which have to be the people of the city of Newark.
Mr. Governor, how exciting. It shines a great light on New Jersey, which has become the center of the national debate in a lot of different ways, but now on education. So positive.
Well, listen, it is great. And you know, we started this, right at the beginning of our term in talking about education in a different way and taking on the fights that need to be taken on.
You guys have been working together.
Yep.
Yes. Shoulder to shoulder.
It thrills our parties, both our parties, that Cory and I work together. But, we've been friends for a long time. And we agree on so many things that our view is, especially on this issue of education, that we need to take this on, and we need to take it on directly, and we need to do it for the kids of our state.
And again, doing it, working together, Democrats and Republicans. Mr. Mayor, in this day and age, that doesn't happen. It is just so pathetic that adults get in ideological corners, scream and yell, call each other names, and forget about the kids who are being left behind in Newark.
Yeah, I mean, the tug of war in our nation going back and forth is not helping anything, and the people that are getting lost are the folks that are most important. The biggest national security threat in the United States of America is the failure of our children in classrooms every single day. In a global, knowledge-based economy, America cannot be #1 in the world economically if we're number 25.
So let me ask
education.
both of you guys, what does this $100 million do? Obviously, there have been a lot of budget cuts. Does it fill in that gap?
No.
Does $100 million actually just get us back to where we were in New Jersey, or does it move us forward?
It's paradigm shifting. Don't think about it in terms of the budget, because we spend already nearly $1 billion in Newark a year on public education. What this is this money is unrestricted. It gives us flexibility to be able to do things differently and to try to use that money to force change. And so what I see this as is an impetus for change and a catalyst for change. And that's what we're going to use it for. Mark's involvement in it helps with that. And, listen, we've been on the offense on this issue, since the day I got into office. Cory and I have been talking about it since after my election. And this $100 million and the money that will come after that, which we're going to have some more announcements later today, will be an impetus for that change.
How exciting, Mr. Secretary, that you have citizens stepping up like Mark Zuckerberg. Of course, Bill Gates has done God's work for the past decade on education. What else can Americans do?
Well, we're at this moment. I mean, this is a national movement. And whether it's Hollywood, we're waiting for Superman, which is extraordinary, whether it's Silicon Valley and Mark and others stepping up, whether it's Republican governors and Democratic mayors, all of us are saying the status quo is simply not good enough.
And that's happening in Washington, too. Republicans and Democrats, Republicans that may go after the president on so many issues, say on this issue, on this most important issue, they are shoulder to shoulder with the president
Politics,
on reform.
ideology, egos have to go to the side. We have to do better for children. When you think about almost 1 in 2 of the children in Newark not graduating from high school, what chance in life do they have? They are basically condemned to poverty and social failure. They have no chance. They deserve better. These guys, putting ego, putting politics aside, they're going to do it. What does the public have to do? 2 things. Education has to become the voting rights issue. People, as they go to the polls in November, they have to vote along Republicans, Democrats. Who's supporting education? Who's supporting reform? Education has been 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th on the list of things to think about when they vote. This has to rise precipitously to the top of that list. Secondly, everyone has to step up and get involved. You have to tutor, you have to mentor, you have to coach, you have to volunteer. You can't just drive by schools and say those poor children don't have a good education. Everyone has to step up in their own way and find a way to make a difference.
Well, Joe, listen, I wish you were right, Joe, that all of us agree on this. But I watched your show last night, and I'm still waiting for Randy Weingarten to answer a question. Okay, you asked her, what has the union done wrong to contribute to this? I watched it live at 8. I watched the replay. I'm still waiting for the answer. And so, listen, not all of us are there yet. And I can tell you that we're having these fights in New Jersey all the time of the teachers union not being willing to step up and acknowledge that change needs to be made.
Not putting kids first.
Well, no,
it's still about adults.
It's worse than that. It's not just about adults. It's about their money. That's all it's about, Joe. It's about their money.
Well,
and they've got to decide. They've got to decide if they want to take this fight on that way. And I was waiting last night for Randy to answer your question once, and she didn't. And that's emblematic of what's happened in the teachers union movement. So I agree. Cory Booker agrees. Secretary Duncan agrees. The President of the United States has provided great leadership on this issue. But until they come along, either willingly or being dragged along, this isn't going to change.
You know, Mika, one thing about this show that we do that most other shows don't do, because we don't have a teleprompter, and I'm actually too stupid to actually keep things to myself, is we tell the truth about what goes on off camera. And I know Randy, and I like Randy. I know she's got a very difficult job right now trying to bridge the gap of what was and what will be. But what the governor just said is what we've heard 100 times last night. They didn't get any straight answers.
We were trying to connect the disconnect. Question for the mayor.
Yes.
There is a possibility that Michelle Rhee might be looking for a new job. Would you like her to head up your school system?
Well, first of all, I think she's a warrior woman. She's Wonder Woman, and she knows that. Every time I go, I call her an American hero. But look, I really want to conduct a community process in Newark. We're a city that if you allow the people to lead, we're going to make a difference. So I'm not going to impose a name now, a person now. I really want to go through for the next month or 2 to find the best person. That's a skeptical look, and I see it. She's
Randy.
Randy. You learned from Randy last night. Let me put it to you this way.
Secretary, bail me out. Secretary, bail me out.
How about this?
Hold on a second. This is good.
Boy.
You want to keep her in Washington. You'd be lucky to have her in Newark. That's a
let me
good
say what
sign.
he's doing, and it's so important. That $100 million is not going to change a thing in Newark unless the community steps up and says we deserve better. I think what he is doing that is so smart is those citizens, those parents desperately want something better for their children. They have to be at the table. They have to be part of the conversation, and they should be pushing him. They should be more radical in reform than the mayor. They should be leading the city where it needs to go. And I think he's trying to put in place a process that's going to empower average parents, the parents of waiting for Superman who have been disempowered for too long. He's going to put them in the driver's seat and say, we have this moment of opportunity. What are we going to do collectively? Not what is the mayor going to do, not what is the governor going to do. Mark's not going to do it for Silicon Valley. What is the community going to do to better the schools? I think he's going about the right way.
You know, Willie, I think the Secretary of Education just provided the mayor of Newark a lifeline. So he didn't have to answer that question.
Changing the subject a little bit.
Yeah, Willie.
Wave after wave of reform we've seen in America. We've seen different plans, different programs, different people. It's time that Americans step up in a way that we haven't before. We've allowed our country to descend past number 5, out of the top 10. We are now trailing the globe in terms of educational excellence. And what I believe Jersey can help lead America back, but we have to let Newark lead and not let people drop in from outside and point the way.
Willie, you're a native of New